Welcome to the Baseball Podcast with the SCPI crew. Alex Garr, Connor Morissette will be with you all season. Alex, it's a pleasure to be joined with you, the baseball maestro, so to speak, of the staff. I know you're pumped up to be covering baseball as well. And we're going to have a weekly show that's dedicated to baseball in the city section. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, man, I'm jacked up for baseball. I've been talking about it all season long. Football is a lot of fun. Basketball is a ton of fun. There's talent in LA City, and baseball, I think, frankly, is where it shines the most. I can't wait to get the season going.
So quickly to run down kind of how this will go, it's a lot similar to what Keith DeMolder, our colleague, and myself would do with football. And then with basketball, we'll go through a top 10 that we put together, preview some games, and then give out a couple of game balls. So those will be the three segments. And then as this goes, we might introduce some highlight elements where we break down some of the games that we were at over the week and play some highlights from those games as well to kind of shout out some players with video in addition to just talking about them, so be on the lookout for that. But today, Alex, we just took in a fantastic game of baseball. Chatsworth beats Calabasas at home 5-3. Gabe Achucaro with a complete game for Chatsworth, an incredible performance from him. It looked like he might have gotten roughed up a bit early, gave up 2 runs, but then settled down, only give up 1 the rest of the way, and Chatsworth gets the win.
Yeah, he really settled in. He gave up 3 runs in those first 3 innings, but then 4 scoreless to finish it. Gabe's a great kid. I got to talk to him after the ball game, saying the fastball command wasn't exactly where he wanted it to be, had to lean on the slider. He started making guys really miss towards the end of that ball game, and that's how you get this team out, because Calabasas can hit. He really stepped up.
Chatsworth is a team in our poll, so we'll get to that right now. Don't want to give away their position, but I mean, when you're beating a Southern Section team like Calabasas,
3 straight wins, Valencia and Rio Mesa.
Yeah, they're competing at a very high level, so you'll see where they are in a second. Before we go the top 10, though, quick announcement. A lot of San Fernando Valley teams, but that's to be expected. You know, there's going to be a good amount of those teams. It's where the talent is largely.
Yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but 7 out of 10 teams in our top 10 are from the Valley. I mean, I'm a little biased. I grew up in the San Fernando Valley, but frankly, this is where the best baseball is, the best talent. From around the country, you get a lot of kids from this particular part of California. A lot of good showings in our top 10.
So we'll get started with the top 10, and first, of course, Valley team, Sylmar.
Yeah, Sylmar, they're 6-4. They got wins over Bell, Hamilton, and Westchester, some good LA City schools. Got some chirping on Twitter because we announced it last night.
Yes.
Some people wanted Venice in the top 10. They're 5-4. They're kind of swimming around that 10 spot. If they continue to play good baseball, they'll be in. But Sylmar, with that extra win, 6-4, plus 3 wins in city, they're my number 10.
9, Hamilton. We got to check out their field the other day. A little bit wet, but that's to be expected this time of year. They're off to a good start.
Yeah, hopefully they get to play their game against Taft this week. Things are supposed to rain. It never rains in Southern California, and yet it's going to rain as soon as baseball season starts kicking off. But either way, Hamilton, they're 4-2, and they're just blowing teams out. They beat West Adams 14-0. They beat Contreras, I think, 13-1 or 13-2. So when the sticks are alive like that, you're going to get in our top 10. Hamilton at number 9.
At number 8, Cleveland, a West Valley League team.
Yeah, Cleveland, one of the more legendary programs in the Valley. As you mentioned, the West Valley League. I think just about every team in the West Valley League is in our top 10. No surprise there. Rough start. 1-4 for Cleveland, but they've played Camarillo and Moore Park. 2 really, really good teams that can really hit the baseball. I expect to bounce back from Cleveland.
Absolutely, as do I. At 7, Taft, another team from the West Valley League.
Yeah, Taft, they're 6-2, and they have beaten everybody they've played except Palisades. And Palisades, I was thinking about it, looking at the records, I couldn't exactly rank Palisades ahead of Taft if Pally's beaten them twice. So Taft, they're 6-2 in a number 7 spot, a very good team. I think they get better, but they got to beat Pally.
Bit of a giveaway there. 6, Palisades, the Dolphins from one of the more beautiful high schools in the area.
Yeah, Pacific Palisades, beautiful area, beautiful school, and 6-4, a decent start to the season. As I mentioned, they've beaten Taft twice, so good start for the Dolphins. They were right in the mix last year. I expect them to be this year.
Top 5, it's another team kind of like Cleveland at 5, El Camino Real. We know the talent's there. Some Twitter people last night a little bit annoyed, so to speak, with that 5 spot, but we expect them to move up, but right now I think 5 is fair.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. El Camino Real, a legendary program when it comes to LA City. Coach Leinhart's one of the best coaches in all of LA, and with Museborn retiring here at Chatsworth, Leinhart's pretty much top of the heap. But a 1-5 start, that's keeping Elko down. A guy on Twitter actually shouted me out. Thanks for the motivation.
Yep.
I know there's going to be a lot more where that came from. A lot of wins coming their way for Elko. A lot of good teams they've played. West Ranch, Birmingham, or excuse me, not Birmingham, St. Bonaventure. So the losses, you kind of try to read a little bit into them and see this is some really good talent they're playing. Pitching is fantastic. I think they bounce right back.
Number 4, Roosevelt from East Los Angeles, the one representative from that side of town.
Yeah, the Rough Riders, they're hitting the smack out of the ball. 77 runs scored so far in the LA City section. That leads the entire city. So when you're bringing the sticks early, Roosevelt not necessarily known for their baseball prowess, but hey, they're starting the season on the right foot. Excited team to watch.
Bit of a dark horse in the top 10, so we'll certainly be keeping an eye on them. And then into the top 3 all-time programs here in Los Angeles. First at 3, it's Kennedy.
Kennedy, they're 6-3, undefeated in LA City, as you mentioned, one of the more legendary programs. Cougars always have really, really good talent. I'm excited to see where they go. They play Chatsworth this week, one of our games to watch. I don't want to give too much away, but that's going to be really telling to see how the rest of the season starts to play out.
Number 2, what's Chatsworth going to be, 2 or 1? We have them at 2 right now. I mean, they just beat Calabasas. They've won 3 in a row, as Alex talked about. Maybe we see them move up in the future. It'll all depend on what the number 1 team is doing, which we'll announce in a second, but Chatsworth is 2.
Chatsworth is 2. They're 3-2, and now after this win today, they're 4-2. As we mentioned, 3 straight wins, Rio Mesa, Valencia, and now Calabasas. Gabe Achikara, who we talked about, he had 2 wins in that little win streak, so Chatsworth's starting to put some things together after sort of a slow start for them, but 1 or 2, maybe 3, but not any lower than that for the rest of the season.
And number 1, it is the Patriots from Birmingham. They're off to a great start. Johnny Tincher, their catcher, is a fantastic player for them. Leader, they do the little things right.
Yeah, Birmingham, I mean, they're the defending city champions, and when you jump out with a roster very similar to the ones they had last year, you're not ranking them 1. They're 5-2, as you mentioned. Tincher's playing really well. Albert Garcia, one of their star pitchers, he was a freshman on varsity last year, had a 1.8 ERA, helping lead them to that LA City title. Birmingham, expect nothing but greatness. They're going to be floating around that 1 spot, looking at a repeat, and I expect them to be right there.
Let's now look at some games this week that we're going to keep a close eye on. In the city section, Alex, some city versus city action. Taft, Roosevelt, game we were going to check out last week that was rained out, but hopefully will be made up this week. That's one we're looking forward to.
Yeah, that darn rain ruins good matchups. Roosevelt, as I mentioned, in our top 10, they're hitting the crap out of the ball right now, 77 runs. Taft, they're winning baseball games. So those two going head-to-head, very exciting matchup. Don't know the pitchers yet, but I know the bats are going to be there. Exciting game to watch.
That's probably the best game of city versus city this week, but there's a lot of city section against southern section going on. What else are you looking forward to?
Well, we had Calabasas Chatsworth here. Lucky
Great
enough to see a fantastic game. Some small ball execution, also a 3-run double that we'll get to a little bit later. A really, really good, well-played game. But tomorrow, or actually later today, going on right now is Kennedy at Simi Valley. Simi is one of the better teams, a little bit up north. Kennedy, as we mentioned, they're number 3 in our section. I like Simi a lot. I really want to go out and see them today. Couldn't. We came here instead. We're treated to a fantastic ball game, but Kennedy and Simi, I'm really looking forward to seeing the result of that one.
Another game we'll be checking out. Any other ones you want to headline?
Yeah, Birmingham at J. Sarah on Friday. Birmingham's our number 1 team, and J. Sarah is one of the best teams in California. They put kids in the major leagues. So if Birmingham, they don't necessarily have to beat J. Sarah. If they do, that's a statement win for the program. But as long as if they execute, if they pitch well, hold to a couple of runs, that's a very, very good sign for the Patriots.
So that's certainly one we'll be watching as well, just because Birmingham, like we talked about in our top 10 there, really the class of the city section right now. So if they can go out and compete with one of the premier programs in the country, I mean, the sky's the limit for them.
Big ups to them, absolutely. I mean, Coach Moore's doing a great job keeping his kids prepared. They're a really, really talented, but also a smart ball club. They don't make a lot of mistakes. No scraps left on the table for Birmingham. When they get a guy on second, they're bunting him over to third. Get a fly ball in the outfield, they're bringing him in. There are really not a lot of missed opportunities, and that's how you win close ball games.
Let's move on now to our game ball segment where we highlight some of the top players in the LA City section from the past week. Alex, I know you have a game ball. I do as well. Who do you have this week?
Well, my guy is Albert Garcia, a sophomore from Birmingham. As I mentioned him in our top 10. Got to see him on Friday. He went 6 scoreless innings, 4 hits, 2 strikeouts. Got the win as they beat Sierra Canyon, one of really, really talented ball clubs out there in the southern section. So Albert Garcia, expect nothing less from you, my man, and you get a game ball from me.
For me, it's someone who we just took in a complete game from. We talked about him off the top, Gabe Achikara for Chatsworth. So last week, he had a fantastic performance, 6 innings, 9 strikeouts, and a 3-1 win over Valencia. And then today he comes out and tosses a complete game against Calabasas. That slider, Alex, we were talking about it, that thing moves. He's a fantastic pitcher. Doesn't necessarily beat you with gas, doesn't really throw a fastball that's necessarily effective, but that sidearm slider, the curveball, he knows how to move the ball and is certainly a dangerous pitcher in the LA City section. Back-to-back great starts from him, and he gets the game ball from me this week.
Yeah, slider from Achikaro, as you mentioned, has got great depth. He was talking to me, the fastball command wasn't there, got a lean on it. One thing he said that really stuck out to me, he says, you gotta have a second pitch. At this level, you gotta be able, it's a changeup, is it a curveball, is it a slider? If your fastball's not working and you can't spot it, you can't be giving up walks, can't be giving up free bases, Achikaro leaning on that slider, that's how you get guys out.
And he looked fantastic today. We mentioned how off the top he let up 2 runs in the first inning and then 1 run the rest of the way. And that's pretty rare, let's be honest. Usually some guys, they'll get hit early and that'll kind of rock the confidence. The next thing you know, they're out of the game. Not today. He showed tremendous belief in his ability and was able to get the victory. I was very impressed.
Yeah, and Coach Kaiser letting him go out for the 7th inning. You know, some coaches want to pare it back early in the season. Your pitch count's a little high. I know Coach Maury let Albert Garcia. He pulled him. Still a fantastic decision. They go out and win. Really, it's feeling out your pitchers, whether or not they've got it. Achikaro's pitch count was up there, but it's about gutting it out, finishing a ball game. Really impressed out of the work from him today.
Me as well. This will do it for the first episode of the SCPI Los Angeles City Section Baseball Podcast. We're going to try to put these together on Saturday from now on, so look out for them early in the week. Alex, I think we're off to a great start. City Section Baseball, there are a lot of teams who are beating Southern Section teams. It's a little bit different than football, where the LA City Section gets beaten around a little bit. LA City Section Baseball, it's legit. We'll be on it all year, and check out our weekly podcast throughout the season. For Alex Scar, I'm Connor Morissette. We'll see you next time.